Nate and Sam here, Murray Farm and Ranch. Coming to you from our bass tracker today, out on lake. And what are we gonna do today, Sam?
Fish.
We're gonna go fishing. Me and Sam, we're gonna put us out some trot lines, try to catch some catfish. And I'm gonna take you guys along, kind of show you a little bit about what trot line is all about, kind of how to do it, why it's an excellent way to catch some fish, especially some good, nice eater catfish. We're fishing here in Oklahoma on a little lake. This is just a couple of miles from our house. What we're gonna do, it works anywhere. Anywhere that has catfish, this technique will work. I learned how to trot line from my grandfather. You don't see a lot of young guys trot lining, which I'm not exactly young anymore, but it seems like most of the guys I see out on the lakes trot lining are your retired age fellas. And I think it's kind of becoming a lost art on how to set these things, how to run them, how to catch a lot of catfish, and these big family fish fries that we love so much. So I'm going to show you guys how we're gonna do it, and we'll follow along. Hopefully we catch a few cats. So the first part of getting a trot line set is you got to find two anchoring points. There's different kinds of lines like this. There's throw lines, which I consider a throw line, where it's anchored off to one point. Limb lines, where it's anchored off a limb and drops down. Jug lines, where it's off a jug. And then what I'm doing is a trot line. So in this lake that I'm fishing, it's got a lot of trees. You can kind of see that back there. And I'm going to show you what I'm anchoring off to. I've got a tree here, and then about 50 feet away I've got a tree, probably actually about 75 feet. And I'm going to tie off to both ends. We'll weight that line down really nice and tightly, and we'll put baits along the line. And those catfish that are cruising, they're gonna have a hard time resisting all these perch that we've got on this line. You can see where I'm tied off to. I like to tie below the surface of the line, or below the surface of the water. That way people can't easily see it, and therefore they won't run your lines. And then it goes back towards that tree right there. And when I get some weights on this, it will be completely submerged. There'll be a hook about every 3 feet with a perch on it. What we've got for weights, they're homemade weights. I like these right here. These are ice cream containers that I filled with concrete. Put a screw eye. We've got some smaller ones that I use with limb lines sometimes. All right, I'm gonna start baiting these guys. So earlier this afternoon, caught some little perch. So what we've got here is a big circle hook. We're gonna hook these perch right behind there, kind of right in their back. These hooks, they clip to the line. And we have our first hook. So we'll go down just a little ways. Grab another perch. I really like these Gamakatsu circle hooks. They're kind of expensive, but they are excellent at hooking the catfish in the corner of the mouth. Typically on circle hooks, they allow for bait fish to be swallowed, or basically it catches the fish without them swallowing the hook. So if we decide we're going to let a big catfish go or something, they're typically caught in the corner of their mouth, which is nice. So I have a selection of different size hooks, and I basically scale the hook to the size of the perch that I'm using. These are pretty decent sized perch, so I'm using a pretty decent sized hook. This time of year we catch a lot of big flatheads, and so flatheads don't have a hard time swallowing a big bait, and so we're gonna let them have it. I do like to set weights every so often. That way we don't have to worry too much about boat motors catching us. This will sink down, you know, it should be 3 or 4 feet below the surface. And you'd have to be trying to get hung up in it to get hung up in it. With trot lining, you typically let your line set for a few hours, and when you come back and run them, you know, you need to have fresh bait with you. You can use cut bait on trot lines. You know, you could use cut shad, dead shad, worms, shrimp, you know, anything. Anything honestly will catch some fish. However, I love catching flatheads, and flatheads, to me, they're the best tasting catfish. I feel like they have the whitest meat. They get big. I just find them to be just awesome creatures, and so they're my favorite to catch. And flatheads really are, they're predators, man. They are not really into, you know, scrounging around for you know, dead and rotting food down in the bottom like channel cat and blue cats are. You might catch one here and there, but in my experience, you got to have some live bait, and they love perch.
I think that boy is excited about fishing. We're gonna go check these lines, see what we've got going on out there.
You got a fish on, buddy?
Yes.
Yeah? All right, you got your big net?
Yes, got a big net.
All right. Look at that, you got a catfish on. Get him with your net. Get him, bud. All right, good job. You got him, buddy. Yay! Got a catfish in the net. Oh yeah, get your net, get him. Get up underneath him. There you go. That's a big old flathead for you, buddy. You got you a flathead. Look at that.
Look at that.
Look at that.